So now we know which formula are we going to use. What is important now, we are supposed to get to the point whereby we have to substitute. All right. But under the substitution, we have to look at our three learners. What is happening there? You have to work on our interest when you have to do what? To put the data. Let's try to look at our data there and then try to find if it's annually form poor and the interest are going to be different. The interests are going to be different. And then you've got, who's the other one? Dikeledi. We're trying to find the interest and also the period. And then the other one, it's going to be, who's the other one? Tato. Thank you. Tato. And then you've got this other one. Vuyo. My handwriting is smart, huh? I'm sure all of us will like it. Then what is important, why we are making comparison amongst the 4 learners on their investment. But what is crucial, you have to, before we can substitute our I, we must find what is our I for this one. Then we said it's 8% the interest per annum. So it's compounded annually. So it's going to be R divided by 100. And then we said the R we divide by the description of our interest. Okay. And then for Dikeledi I, it's equals to, it says half yearly. The interest is half yearly. Then we divide the rate over divided by 100. We divide by half yearly. We divide by 2. Half yearly one. Okay. And then we've got the next one. The next one we've got Tato. Tato, it's going to be compounded quarterly. If it's compounded quarterly, what is your I there? Your I for Tato, it's going to be 8% divided by quarterly by 4. Okay. I'll try to make it boldly so that you can see the phrases that brings a change. And then with regard to Vuyo, it says monthly, so it's going to be I for Vuyo is equals to 8 divided by 100, all divided by what? All divided by 12. The phrase says monthly. If it says monthly, it's by 12. So here this is the rate monthly, here is the rate is quarterly, and then here is the interest in half yearly or semi-annually, and then this one is annually or per annum. Okay, so it's so important for us to take into consideration our phrases like annually, quarterly, compounded annually, and so on. All right, so that you can see the effect of those words or phrases towards the interest. What's going to be the answer here? We're going to have 0,08. Am I right? All right. And then here, you can punch our calculator. Where is our calculator? Some of us, we don't have our calculators. Make sure that you've got our calculators at hand. We must have our calculator. What is the answer there? If we divide that, it's going to be, somebody have got it. But for me, I'm still struggling. I just want to get my calculator ready. All right, let me just get it. Then what we have for this one, we can even use our head. So it's 8 divided by 100. And then the whole answer divided by 2, then 0,04. Others have got all these answers. We can't waste time, but at least we must be sure of what we are going to use when we substitute on our selected formula according to the phrases that we've got there. And then this one is going to be 0,02. All right. And then the last one, what is the answer there? Then the last one, it's 8 divided by 100. The whole answer divided by 12. And then what is the answer there as a decimal? What is the answer there? What we've got there? 8 divided by 100 divided by 12. So this one you can write it as, because if you do it decimal, it's 1. We are also entitled to write it as 150. Okay, 1 divided by 150. Okay, you can verify that. Okay, all right, then these are our answers that we've got. Now we are aware of the fact that it's crucial for us to do what? To find our I, and which means they will convert them, and then being based on the conditions or the phrases that we've got there. All right, and we know that it's compounded, which means we're going to use that compound interest formula. Then the next thing that is going to be affected is your n. All right, for each and every one of them. You said it's compounded year annually, so your n is going to be for 6 years. So it's 6 times 1, which is equals to 6 for Mpo, and then for n, for Dikeled, it's going to be 6 times 2, we multiply by 2. I'm sure somebody can realize what is happening here. We said that the condition or the phrases that we've got there, it determines on whether the I should be divided throughout, and also n also to be multiplied by that condition. Okay, all right, and then n4 for tab, it's going to be 6 multiplied by 4, which is equals to 24. And then for Vuyo, it's going to be 6 multiplied by 12, because it's monthly. Within a year, there are 12 months, okay? So which means out of 6 years, each and every month in a year, in these 6 years, will be having the interest of that one, okay? So the total there, it's going to be, how many months do we have there? It's going to be 6 times 12. Then the answer, it's going to be 72. Can you see there? So which means if you compare this one, you can see the interest, it's this one remains as 8% or 0.08 according to annually, and then the period is going to be 6 years according to the statement, because it's annually. But as you look at Dikeledi Tato and Vuyo, they've been changed accordingly, okay? But what is important for us to see how to convert the I and n before we can substitute them in our formula, okay? What is the next step there? Once you're done with this part, okay, we have to do what? To substitute. So we have identified our formula to be A equals to P, because it's an investment, 1 plus I all raised to the power of n. Am I right? Yes, this is the formula. So now from here, then we know that we have to list all this. We must know what is our A, our P, our I, and n, okay, respectively, okay? So which means let's start with Mpo, and then get to Dikeledi, and so on. For Mpo there, we want our A, which is the amount at the end of 6 years, or what's going to happen there. All right. What do we have there? It's what is your P there? It says 18,500, based on the data that you have written down. A, P, which is your initial amount. This is 1 plus I. What is your I there? Here is your I from Mpo. I from Mpo is 0.08 to the power of, what is your n? It's 6. Okay. And then you get to Dikeledi. All right. This is a substitution now. under decality, then we use the same formula because it says compound interest or compounded. So which means you use the same formula of the same amount of money because you're going to compare. So this is how we write it. And then what is the interest for decality? It's 0.04. 0.04 all raised to the 12. Okay. All right. And now we want to make a comparison, but what is crucial, we have to substitute to all of them. Let's try to substitute to the other ones. Let's not close it. This is Tato. And then we've got also Vuyo here. All right. So your A for Vuyo, it's 18,500. 1 plus. What is the interest for Vuyo? It's going to be 0.02 to the power of 24. Can you see that? And then for what's the other one? Vuyo, it's equals to 18,000. They invest in the same amount of money. The lump sum is 18,000. So 1 plus, what is your I for Vuyo? Then we know that it's 1 divided by 150, which is almost, this one you can also write it in a common fraction, no problem. 72, which is your, remember this is what we've got for Vuyo, okay? N and also I. We substitute them here. We substitute them here. Here is your I, and this is your N, okay? All right, now let's try to punch. Now we're getting to the point where you have to punch our calculators. So this is straightforward. You don't have to use the log, apply the logs here, but we have to punch, and then don't forget that after punching, we must round it off our answers to what? Rounding off to either 2 decimal, or remember the money should be 2 decimal form. Rounding off to 2 decimal place. Okay, for the money, because here we are referring to the money, unless otherwise stated. But rounding off is applicable at the end of the solution. Let's see. Then if you punch from PO, what's going to be the answer? If you punch our calculators from PO, what do we have there? If I punch it, then from PO, I've got, this is the money, 29. 357,17. That's my final answer to 2 decimal place, because we've got cents, we've got 10 cents and 1 cent. Okay, and then for decality, if after punching my calculator, the correct answer is 29,619,10. Okay. These are our final answers for the 2. And then let's get to Tato. See, let's save time there. For Tato, it's going to be, just verify, punch your calculator as fast as you can, just to save time there. I know we are using different calculators, but you must know your calculator, understand it clearly, how to use it. Put in bracket and work it out, okay? Be careful about that, all right? Or practice your calculator skills on regular basis. This is 29,849,79. Here we are doing the comparison amongst the 4 of the amount investment annually. What is this one? Half yearly. This one quarterly. And this one is on monthly basis. Okay. Now, as you can see, Vuyo is the best investment that you can take. Can you see that? Which means if you invest on monthly basis, then you will get extra interest that you can get compared to others. What is crucial here that I want to drive home, it's all about being aware that our I depends on the phrases that we've called the keywords. I can be changed based on that, okay? And also our N, all right? If it's compounded monthly or annually, all right? And also if it says compound, then remember, then you'll make a proper formula that is relevant to that, okay? And then lastly, on this, then what is important is all about substitution. I'm sure it's one of the wonderful exercises that you've been doing based on what you've been trying to work on. Okay. Now, on this simple formula that we know, like also the reduced balance and the depreciation and also the straight line one, then we're still going to use the same thing, but we're going to use it when we interpret some long statement and also working on the timelines and so on. Okay.